Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the College Corner podcast. I'm your host, Tatiana, and I'm here with a very special guest. She is not only a Take Stock alumni, but she is part of an amazing program that helps our Take Stock program in so many ways. I want you all to meet Shaqueria Howard from the Florida Lottery. The Bright Future Scholarship Program, which is primarily funded by the Florida Lottery, assists students like ours in pursuing post-secondary educational and career goals. Shaqueria, let's learn more about you and this amazing program through the Florida Lottery.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited to talk about my experience and a little bit about what I do every day at the lottery.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been with us for some time. We met at a couple of Take Stock events, but we want to share with our audience today about the Florida Lottery, the Bright Futures program, as well as your experience on what it was like being a part of the Take Stock and Children program. So can you tell us a little more about Florida Lottery's connection with Take Stock?
Yeah, so much like Take Stock in Children, our mission is to provide Florida's underprivileged students with the opportunity to achieve their dreams of a higher education. So the lottery's priority is also Florida students. Our number one goal is to maximize revenues and to enhance public education in our state.
That's awesome. And one of the ways that you all do that is by providing a scholarship program called the Bright Futures Scholarship Program. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, the Bright Future Scholarship Program has four different types. There is the Florida Academic Scholarship, there's the Florida Medallion Scholarship, there's also Gold Seal CAPE, and then there's Gold Seal Vocational. Now, the qualifications for each scholarship changes annually, and the information is on our website that we just started, which is the Bright Futures Initiative. It's floridabrightfutures.gov, but the Bright Future Scholarship has helped more than 950,000 scholarship recipients to receive their education and post-secondary, college career choices. And that number changes almost, quarterly with the number of students that we help with Bright Futures. But that scholarship program can help up to 100% or 75, depending on, what college you go to and which level of scholarship you receive.
That's amazing. And I know some of our Take Stock and college students, some of our Take Stock and children students have achieved the scholarship, one of the four. And so we want to make sure that our Take Stock and college students are staying on top of meeting the requirements for maintaining the scholarship. So what are the any tips that you may have for our students to maintain their Bright Future Scholarship while they're in college?
Yeah, the biggest tip that I can offer for you all to keep up with your studies is to stay connected with your, when you're in high school, right, it's a guidance counselor. When you get to college, I think it's like your success coach. It might still be a guidance counselor, but just stay connected with that person so that if you have any questions regarding your scholarship, you can go to them and you can reach out to them and ask them, okay, so I might have fell off a little bit this month. Like, how do I pick that back up? The lottery is also here as a resource for you all. So reach out to me personally if you need to, so that I can put you in contact with the person that works at the Department of Education who specializes in all things Bright Futures.
That's great. Thank you for offering your help as well, because we know our students, sometimes they're first gen students and they get the scholarship, they get this great opportunity to go to one of the many public colleges and universities in the state, and they may need that assistance. They just don't know where to go. So thank you, Shaqueria, for offering that help and that service.
Yeah.
I know it hits different because you're an alumni of the Take Stock in Children program. Tell us more about which county program you were a part of and what year did you graduate?
Oh, awesome. I would love to. So I am a proud Take Stock in Children alumni. I say it all the time. And I was in TCC, Take Stock in Children program, and I graduated in 2013. Fun fact, my certificate is still hanging up in my bedroom in my mom's house because it just like stood still from like the day that I graduated. So all of my certificates and achievements are up, and the one from Take Stock in Children is still up there too.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you have any memories from your time in Take Stock in Children that you want to share?
Yeah. So I remember, I'll never forget actually. Um, there was, and this is a full circle moment for me. There was a lady who came and spoke when I was at Take Stock in Children, and she talked about like financial literacy, all things that you don't necessarily get when you're in school. In high school you don't learn how to write a check, or like how to balance your funds, or deferred comp and all the things you should be doing to save. And this lady like came in here and she talked to us about all of those things. She talked to us about scholarships and saving money, and how most students get their financial aid and they go like buy apartments and they're not like saving properly. She taught us all of those things, how to save. And when I came to work at the lottery, I had a meeting not too long ago with the lady who worked at she worked in the outreach department for FSU in the financial aid office. And it was the same lady. And she now helps students to the same thing, kind of like get bright futures. And she works in the Office of Financial Aid to help them kind of work through their scholarships. But it was full circle for me. I met her at Take Stock, and now I met her again when I worked at the lottery after being a proud alumna. And I got to tell her about all the cool things that I do and have that, once again, like connection to like the Office of Financial Aid. So again, like stay connected with people as much as possible, and just, you know, work those corners as much as you can. But that, I think that experience alone, from like being in the program and teaching me like financial literacy and like how to utilize your connections, made it even much more sweeter when I started working at the lottery. And I had to talk to her again, and I reminded her of that conversation or that webinar that she had had with us that day, that talked about financial literacy and how it stuck with me. And so I was able to like save my money. I bought my first house working at the lottery. Like, with the things that she had instilled in me from that day, I just kind of took it on with me. And now I try to preach it to my mentee and to my little cousins and all the little, people that I mentor around me. So
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. You talked about your connection with Take Stock to the lottery, and now you're working for the lottery, which also helps other Take Stock students. Like, mind blown right now. This is this is a pretty epic moment. So thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
How long have you been working with the Florida Lottery?
Yeah, I've been working with the lottery for 4 years now. And right now I'm serving as the acting manager for partnerships and engagements.
Oh, that's cool. So do you work with other organizations like Take Stock to make sure that we're like getting supported and support our students?
Yes, so Take Stock is one of our many partners. We have about 70 to 80 different partnerships that we
Wow.
work with across the state to get the
Mhm.
message out about bright futures in underserved communities, and to highlight the students that already have bright futures.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you were you able to work for Florida Lottery like right out of college? Like, how did you get to this point at your current job?
I love this question. So honestly, I applied. So right out of college, I worked at a local museum here in Tallahassee, Florida. It's called the John G. Riley Museum. I got that job by way of my professor. She had like a press release come through, and they were talking about job opportunities, and I just went for it. And then with my experience from there, I was able to interview at the lottery. I had an interview for the manager of community outreach at the time, and my experience hadn't led me to be a manager just yet. However, the lady who interviewed me liked me so much that she created a role for me. So I was the community outreach and events coordinator. Fast forward to 4 years later, here I am the manager. So it all worked out in the end.
Yes, I love that. Isn't that a great feeling? Like when
Yeah.
going to a new job and they create a new opportunity for you. Like I've been there, so that's a good feeling. Do you feel like what you studied in college relates to what you're doing today at your job?
I would say yes. So basically, what I studied in college was public relations. And what I realized is it's a broad degree. Um, and when I was in it, I was like, oh, this is so specific. Press releases is just communication all day. Like I can work in communications or, be like a social media manager or something like that. But when I started working at the lottery, I realized that it's broad, but it's versatile. So all of the classes that I took being a public relations student at FAMU, they required us to take like graphic design. We had to take like a course that was like intro to PR, and we had to make like an itinerary for our client. And so all of those skills that I was doing for like a imaginary client, it ended up turning out like, not to say that like the lottery is my client, but that's basically how I just treat, my job now. So I do have to make like itineraries for the secretary. I have to make his talking points for him. In communications now, we have to like, you know, set up the different engagements and events for one like this, like we had to coordinate the times and kind of like work out the schedule and things like that. So I'm able to use everything that I learned from those classes and apply it here. We even write press releases in the communications department, so it's very fitting that my job is actually lining up to the things that I do.
Oh, that's great. That's great news, especially for our college students, our Take Stock and College scholars listening, because oftentimes they're taking classes that may or may not have to do with their major, but you never know. Like you might learn a skill in that class that would apply to the job that you end up getting. That is really good. Thank you for sharing that with me too. What would you say is your favorite part of your job today?
Oh, this is a good question too. So my favorite part about my job is our relationship to education. Actually, this morning I went to Brownsville Prep, local school here, to talk about the Bright Future Scholarship and give away some goodies to the little kiddos there. And it's so fun because our reasoning for starting the lottery is to support education across the state of Florida. And I love that Secretary Davis has put or shined a light on partnerships since he's been here. He has really embedded in us that we are the why of the lottery. We are why the lottery exists. And why we do what we do is to generate awareness about the lottery's commitment to education. And that's, the Bright Future Scholarship Program. And that's exactly what I do every day, is to find partnerships that help us to generate that awareness. So it gives me purpose. And I absolutely love that I get to be kind of the face of it, right? The why of the lottery. It's a huge responsibility and task, but it's also really fun and rewarding in the end.
It's so great to hear that you're so enthusiastic and passionate about what you do. That's really encouraging for our students as well to hear, especially as some of them are graduating this semester, some of them are getting ready to graduate, or even apply for internships and jobs. So I would ask you, Shaqueria, like, was there any advice that you have for college students who are looking for their first jobs after college graduation?
Okay, so college students, listen, hear me out. Networking is queen. Like, I cannot stress it enough. Like, being that I'm a public relations student, of course, networking was like all of the things that they embedded in us. But I had moments where I was like focused on my studies and I kind of let networking fall by the wayside. And if I would have like stayed true to that, and everything that it was that I've done, I would have like probably, I don't even know who I would know by now, but honestly, I got my first job through networking just by talking with my teacher. I got, my promotion from like hard work, but also from networking, even when it was uncomfortable, it seems self-explanatory, but networking is so important to like being able to move up the ladder. And also, this is a big one. Most people don't realize how important it is, but it is being kind to others and working to serve others. A positive can do attitude can get you so far in life. There's so many people who forget the quality of just treating other people like they want to be treated, or just simply just before you like send out that email of like, where's the stuff you're supposed to get to me, saying, hey, how's your day going? Like, just having that personal, like, kindness, that spirit of just like positivity, so that people want to be around you and talk to you more. That, alongside keeping your connections, keeping those business cards that you get from people, reaching out to them, staying connected with them on LinkedIn. I think anybody with those two skills will be able to soar heights unimaginable.
Yes, I love that advice. That's so true. Like just showing up and having the right attitude, having a heart of service, like those are biggies. And I think those are things they often don't teach you in class.
Yeah.
You have to really like learn that as you develop relationships with fellow students, with your professors, on your internships, all of that. And we try to engage and encourage those soft skills here at Take Stock in College. Now with the resumes, maybe they can put a couple of those soft skills on their resume, but were there any like resume tips that you would like to share with our Take Stock in College scholars too?
Yes, definitely add those to your resumes. I know now, like, working into my manager role, I'm looking over a few resumes for the new jobs that we're putting out there. And one of the things that I've seen is like, I'm a good listener. Like, I have good listening skills. Like, who would have thought? Like, that's a good skill to put. But things like that, being reliable, good customer service, all of those kind of relate to that, positive can do attitude. So one of the tips that I will share is to continuously update it. Don't ever get too comfortable in your role and what it is that you're doing. Continue to update your resume. I don't care if it's a LinkedIn learning certificate. If you just learned the skill and you're proficient in it, add it to your resume. Never stop challenging yourself. Always be confident enough to get out there and learn something new, because that's going to take you to new heights and it's going to help you propel and excel. So always continuously update your resume, never stop challenging yourself, and never stop trying to learn a new skill.
Thank you for that resume advice. That's really important for our students. That's a good point too. Like consistently update your resume, even your resume on LinkedIn. We've been talking about LinkedIn lately on our social media channels. So make sure you guys keep your LinkedIn profile and your resume updated after the semester. Now that we're like towards the end of our conversation today and seeing your journey through the Take Stock in Children program, you graduated from college, you're now working in this amazing organization, the Florida Lottery. What do you know now that you wish you knew then as a Take Stock alum?
Okay, so this is a good question too. I had to take some time for this one, just because my journey is a lot different than others. So for me, I wish I knew that I didn't know everything. Like, I hope that makes sense to you guys, but like, I was so sassy. Like, and for the folks that are listening to this, if you are the sass, like, listen, like, I'm a Leo. Like, I was like, I had to be in the front. I had to be the center of attention. I was super set. Like, I was always had to be the one like in control, in front of everything. Like, if I knew that then, I would have definitely like pumped the brakes and took some time to digest, to be a good listener. That skill that I was talking about earlier, I didn't want to hear anything. And now I'm realizing that I don't know nothing. Like, I know what I'm learning and like who I'm like becoming. But had I, took the time to get to know that little girl who had all that fire inside of her, instead of just shooting the fire out at every turn, it would have made for some better life lessons. So now I'm kind of learning that, it's better to just, sit back and watch, or there's some opportunities where you don't always have to, have a response. You can literally just be in the moment and digest what's happening around you. So if I would have took that time to listen to some of those lessons that people were teaching me instead of dismissing them, I think I would have been, much more ahead of the curve than I am now. But honestly, all of that made me who I am today. And I'm able to kind of take that sass and apply it to what it is that I do now and really like implement some really strong skills within my work ethic. And I don't, necessarily take anything like like if I don't agree, I'm able to kind of stand on what I feel because I'm able to go in those meetings. I'm able to listen, obtain, and then when I make decisions, they're sound, they're logical. Whereas when I was younger, it was more so like I'm just gonna say what I feel, and whoever has a problem with it can just deal with it themselves. But now I'm considerate of others. Like I'm trying to continuously serve others and keep that can-do positive attitude. I will take it into consideration first before I dismiss it. So I wish that that was, a skill that I had way back when. But every day is a learning curve, and I'm just really excited to be able to continue on my journey and find out more things about me and about the world. It's really fun to get to interact with different people. So
Oh, Shaqueria, like you're a true example of what it means when we are about our Take Stock in College mission to make sure our students are successful in college, career, and life. You gave us like a TED Talk in all three of those categories today. So thank you. Thank you so much. How can our students learn more about the Florida Bright Futures program or scholarship in case they're maybe in the program, maybe they forgot, maybe they need to learn a little more about which scholarship they have? How can they get back to that website that you mentioned earlier?
yes, so what's really cool is our Secretary John F. Davis, he had came to the lottery and realized that the basically the qualifications, the information of how to get Bright Futures, or to just find out like how to enroll, where I'm at with everything, my eligibility status. Like it was so complicated for students. We even had like a few like brainstorming sessions with some Bright Futures grads and current recipients to talk to them about how is your application process. And so we found that it was a little complicated, right? If they didn't know someone that could teach them everything, like a big sister or a big brother, it was really hard for them to navigate through the website or through the system. So the secretary worked with the governor and they created a floridabrightfutures.gov. So if you type that in your URL, there'll be a web link that pops up. And alongside the Department of Education, we were able to create this web link so that students are able to find out about their eligibility. They're able to have quick access to the different types of scholarships and the current qualifications for them. And they're able to kind of have that kind of hub of information so that you can go straight there and see everything you need to know about your scholarship, your future scholarship, or the one you have right now. And then you get to see a few more stories about the students that have it down at the bottom.
That's great. And Take Stock and College Scholars, we're going to put that website on Take Stock Connect in case you missed it. But yes, that is amazing to have that all in one space so they can easily find it, get clarity, and stay in the scholarship program until they graduate college. Thank you so much, Shaqueria, for your time today. Was there anything else that you had to share with our students today?
You're so welcome. I just want to keep encouraging you all. If there's anyone who's listening right now who is going through a hard time, just continue to steady on your course, continue to shine your light, continue to be who you are. Don't let anyone take that shine away from you. Continue to keep your sass. If you have your sass, just remember that you don't know everything and be open to listening to your peers, be open to taking everything you can from Take Stock in College, from Take Stock in any programs that you're in right now. They're trying to instill those life skills in you. Take them, write them down, digest them, and continue to be inspired and continue to shine your light wherever you go because we know you're going to be successful.
Yes, thank you so much, Shaqueria Howard, for your time today and that great motivation and letting us know more about Florida Lottery and the Florida Bright Future Scholarship Program. We appreciate your time. I'm so thankful for our partnership with the Florida Lottery. It's been beneficial to Take Stock students all over the state as they continue to pursue their academic post-secondary goals, and we appreciate what you all are doing. So have a great afternoon or great evening, whatever time you're listening or watching this episode of the College Corner podcast, where we offer you success tips in college, career, and life. Until next time, see you later.